Well, welcome, guys. So from the MASQ team, we have Corey. You tell us, for those in the audience who may not be overly familiar with MASQ, could you just tell us a little bit about your project in general and your community to kick us off?
Yeah, for sure. So, actually, this month marks 2 years since we've formed as a team, and essentially, we're trying to build a mesh network solution to internet censorship. So, you can just blocking places online where they can go, and essentially, we want to bring that freedom back and leverage all the technology that we have now, not only in crypto but in some of the real innovative types of things you can do with software development and build it on the network layer to get all the advantages of stuff like VPN technology, TOR type of routing, and have it all combined into one easy software and essentially let everyone in the world use the internet uncensored. So that's our goal.
Awesome, thank you. I think we're having a little bit of internet problems. I'm seeing both Joe and I having a little bit of trouble coming through. Are you still hearing us loud and clear?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I saw it waver a bit, but it didn't disconnect or anything.
Awesome, awesome. So you've got some coming updates for MASQ, as you're saying. Did you want to expand?
Yeah, sure. I think you were at it kind of cut you off at the end, but I think you're asking if we've got some things coming up.
Yeah, yeah. You've got some updates coming up. You were mentioning. Would you like to expand on those a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. And I'll let Mac chime in too, because he's the head of marketing here. So there's probably a few things there that are pretty exciting that are coming. But anyone on our socials or have like glanced at some of our updates, we're getting very, very close to starting private testing in Gemini version 0.2, which is the next upcoming software version. The reason this is so exciting, but also the reason why it's taking so long, a lot longer to develop, is we're trying to pack a bunch of utility into the software right out the gate. So we want to make it not only just super user friendly, make it very easy to set up, but also make it very inviting and to be a little more than just a way to browse the internet and go to sites with the VPN type of privacy enhancements. We want it to be a little more than that. So we do have some like a secret feature. I've hinted at it a few times online. We're calling it the Veil Initiative. And all I'll say about it now is, it's going to just basically provide a whole bunch of utility for the user to use the software, not just to gain the privacy thing. It's going to be, quite a bit more than that. But at the same time, we've solved, I guess, what you could call the gas crisis. We're actually facing a real gas crisis here in New Zealand. Petrol is the most expensive it's ever been in history. So we're doing something for the gas prices on Ethereum, and we've said we're going to integrate with Polygon. That was our first governance vote as a community, which was really cool for us, and seeing all the input from our followers and our supporters. You might have noticed some announcements coming out from Polygon that we've joined their ecosystem, and that's just going to essentially make a utility layer for our project where the transactions and the incentivization part of the software will operate on a very, very low gas networks side chain, which will be Polygon, and that means that there's going to be no network or gas issues. So that's pretty exciting too. So we're working on that now, and I have a few things we can share shortly about that too that people will be quite pleased to see. So that's cool.
Awesome. You mentioned Mac. Might have a few things to chime in there. Mac, did you have some thoughts you'd like to add?
No, not yet. I mean, I think, when it comes to like our messaging or, marketing or what we're doing to, spread the word what we're doing, I'll chime in. But for the most part, yeah, Aaron's query is right. Yeah, I think the most exciting news really is the Polygon integration, which is huge in my opinion, because solving that gas crisis was, I think, our #1 challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'll add one more thing too, in case you guys were wondering. A lot of people have been enjoying all the Aladel rewards. So if you missed our update on that, the GEMINI pool, which is the one for SushiSwap LP providers to stake and subscribe, that one's being extended till the end of the year. So a nice finish to 2021. And those of you who are already subscribed, those rewards will actually extend as of today, probably in about 5-6 hours. We're putting the next reward deposit in, and that'll carry on to the end of the year. So that's going to be extended. And just for those of you who aren't in there yet, there's not just the rewards that you receive as benefits in there. You also get voting rights when we do our next governance proposal. So you can vote on the future path of some things with the project, which is very cool. We want people to get involved in that way as well.
Or
Church, I'm not sure if it's my internet, but I don't think we can hear you.
yeah, I think I cut out there.
Yeah.
Corey, I was just asking you. It sounds like you're saying that the governance mechanisms and such within the MASQ community, you're using Crucible to accomplish that now?
Yeah. So our first vote, we did open up to anyone holding the SLP, the SushiSwap MASQ ETH LP token, for providing liquidity. From now, all future governance proposals will be measured for eligibility to vote. It'll be those tokens within the Crucible. So we think that provides a lot more loyalty within the community, but also if you're an LP provider, why wouldn't you be subscribing to the rewards? So we know at least in the near future, it sort of will go hand in hand. So you can gain the rewards from the GEMINI staking pool, Aladel pool, and also vote on governance.
Awesome. That's really exciting. I've got a few community questions here from the MASQ community that we've put together. I'll ask a few of those. Scyther asks, will it be possible for users to host content within the MASQ network for hidden services?
An interesting issue for us as a project. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was just saying it's an interesting issue because it's come up.
I think we've lost you again, Curry. Call seems to be having a lot of difficulty.
Yeah, it's really choppy. One sec. Let me try and see if I can get better connection here.
It seems to be all of us. I think there's a bit of a periodic drop we're experiencing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cutting out
Discord
from
might be suffering.
cutting in and out for me as well.
Yeah, I'll try and turn off some services on my computer to see if I can get more bandwidth. Can you guys hear me okay?
Can hear you fine now.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so it's an interesting issue hosting. it's essentially a project on its own almost, or like a side initiative to achieve that. So we'd love to do it. In fact, that's probably a priority collaboration or partnership we're looking out for too, because if there's other leading edge projects in the space doing that, we'd love to look at exploring ways to do it, provided it's very secure. So our main focus is, first of all, getting the network layer established. So making sure MASQ Network is operating live, that it's got enough users to keep it sustainable, that if people go offline or if people disconnect and users nodes turn on and off, that the network won't suffer. It'll still continue to operate, route traffic. Once that's stable, then of course you can look at things like hosting, or having some form of a decentralized DNS solution, those sort of things. But it is a very, very large undertaking to do that. So that is definitely in the horizon, but we certainly can't attack it right away.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Corey. Another question from Master Halo 40. Are you planning to do a collaboration with two alpha software will be available?
Sorry, I missed some of that question. Are you doing a collaboration with what was it?
I think it's actually two separate questions on this one. Are you planning to do a collaboration with a company related to your project soon? Asks Master Halo 40.
Yeah, actually, we are. We're in talks with some project lab with. So we're sort of looking at ones that are most suited, really, to get to work with. So yeah, we're definitely in talks with that. We want to do that soon. I'd say you're going to see some by the end of definitely by the end of the year, and more or less just trying to do some building together, starting ideas together. So yeah, that's coming. That's definitely.
And new partnerships. And while we are talking to some people, we welcome all inquiries, and definitely if anybody out there listening knows anybody or has an idea, definitely reach out to me, and we'll jump on it if it's a good fit.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Joe, did you have any thoughts you'd like to try?
It keeps breaking up.
I'm not sure if you heard me there, Joe.
Say again, sorry, Church.
Oh, I cut out again. I'm not sure if you heard me. I was just saying, were there any thoughts Corey said quite a bit. There's a few different interesting updates here. Did you have any thoughts on these?
No, I was just saying, I don't know if my voice came through because of the internet is pretty bad or the Discord is pretty bad. We won't have these particular issues in the future. This is seems to be an ongoing problem in any kind of like centralized service as well. No, but it's a very interesting project, and I think I've said that very, very many times, and I'm really looking forward to see the final kind of product. I think there's a lot of good opportunity for people to take part in running their own nodes once the network.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the key, right? User adoption. So we want to make it as easy as we can for users to not only download and run the software, but if they want to be, a serving node where they're going to be contributing their bandwidth to the MASQ network, we want to make it easy, but also like have that incentive as part of it, because of course there's plenty of people that would love to use the tech for their browsing, but also want to give back some of that freedom maybe they enjoy. I've said it in several AMAs. I do like to visualize the MASQ network as, in some ways, sharing freedom from the west to the east. Now, a lot of people in the Western world probably would laugh at that, because it's like sharing the reducing freedoms we have in the Western countries, because they're being infringed upon every week. But there's definitely a lot of people that really don't have access to simple things like Wikipedia and YouTube and those things like that. Yeah, that will just open up a whole bunch of new innovation as well, if people can surf those things from their home,
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's kind of a tool which can also be quite interesting in places where internet is censored as well. And I was just actually wondering, has there been any thoughts to what potential challenges might arise from, say, for example, this being heavily adopted in a country which censors their internet, and obviously they would want to try to stop this network from maybe growing. Has there been any kind of provisions put in place to ensure the growth of MASQ wouldn't be interrupted by, like outside activities as such, if that makes sense?
Yeah, definitely makes sense. This is a very important issue that we do look at all the time. So just so the devs, and they're like gigabrains, like some of you guys, right? They'll like talk to me in a language that I don't necessarily understand, so I'm sitting there on Google furiously trying to look up things that they've said. But basically the first part of the conversation becomes security. So not to scare people, but there are countries where, like you say, the use of things like VPN, the use of things like these peer-to-peer networking type solutions is very, very restricted, if not enforced with penalty. So you can get in trouble in some countries for using a VPN. You could go to prison or worse. So what we think about first is, if I'm a MASQ user in that country, what things are in place in the software that will help mitigate that risk for me? There's always risk with everything that we do. And of course, part of being an adult is taking responsibility for our choices, right? So we can't protect everything, because we're just an open source solution that we're building, but we want to mitigate it as much as we can. So, if you're just an average Joe user that wants to, watch some YouTube in a country that might have banned it or blocked it, we want to try and make sure that there's things that will help them in the software. So first and foremost, we want to make it where no sensitive information persists within the log, like certain parts of the log, certain parts of the storage of the computer. So let's say someone did get, someone's door was knocked on and they said, "Hey, we suspect that you're using MASQ." There wouldn't be a lot of trace left. So we're trying to do it without a trace. And also we're trying to make it so it doesn't affect others in the network. So the fundamental feature that we've built into the way that the nodes connect to each other is, we have this concept of neighborhoods. So when you're a MASQ node, and you're running, you're a part of a small neighborhood, and the neighborhood varies between 4 and 5 other nodes. So at any one time, you would only be aware of intimately 4 other neighbors in your little neighborhood. So if a node was compromised, or if a node went down, or if a node was, I don't know, taken over, only 4 other neighbors would have an effect. So essentially one node won't be a point of failure, right? Because you don't want the whole network to be sensitive to one node being compromised or one node being affected. So that is a fundamental part of the way it works. So that's the main thing that we've waged the whole design on, because we know it will happen. People might be, well, maybe the ISPs start cutting off certain countries or certain people for whatever reason. You don't want the whole network to go down.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to say that's very interesting.
Well,
Actually, another question
can I
off
chime
the
in?
back of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mac.
Yeah. Let me just, and then Kuari, I think it might be a good idea to follow up with that on why MASQ is superior to Tor or VPN. And maybe we could expand a little bit on why MASQ is better than both those technologies.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for reeling me in, because sometimes the tech, I rant on the tech because I'm in those meetings. Yeah.
I think it's I think it's important, and I think that one of the things that I won't use the word struggle, but one of the challenges that marketing runs into is making sure that our message, we don't even really like to use the word VPN in any of our messaging, but it's the closest thing that we can get people to understand what we're doing. So I think if there's any new users out there, especially from the MIST side, it'd be a good idea to explain, why why what you just told them about, why that's better than Tor and VPN.
Yeah, for sure. So it brings a lot of current issues to light, actually. So some of you might have seen on Twitter and news mediums that a very well-known VPN service had to in trouble, and that just brings to light what we're trying to be, what we're trying to have fundamentally different. Is we're not going to be a centralized service, right? So a VPN, all the talk now in crypto and in the decentralization of things is a trade-off, really. Centralization means more convenience, but also means that you give up some of your identity, maybe, or some of your decentralized. It's peer-to-peer. There's no central entity where all your traffic is going through a set of controlled servers that could be hacked, that could be scraped for logs, that could give personal information over. There's none of that, because it's all driven peer-to-peer. And it also means that you're not tracked by a single entity or a group of entities that can just hand over your information. So on that VPN point, most everything is tracked with that. And I'm not, it's not to scare anybody. It's just part of that, right? So when you pay with a credit card, you've basically got an account that's tied to your name. And, maybe there's solutions around that too that are starting to emerge, but you essentially have something tagged onto your subscription. So you can be tracked in that way. That's the main reason why blockchain is a great application for MASQ Network, because it allows trustless incentivization between users. So, there's always that human nature. What's in it for me? If I run a MASQ node and I already maybe live in a free place, that's fairly free, what's in it for me? And so that's kind of approaches that too. With those other solutions like Tor and VPN, there isn't a big incentive besides helping with that freedom fighting to be a supporter, to be what they call an exit node. In MASQ, there is. If you're an exit node, or you're providing service to other users, you gain some MASQ every time someone's routing traffic through your node, or you're providing the content through your node to other users. So those two things are fundamental, right? Incentivizing the users, no centralization of logs and connection. And then in terms of Tor, to tie that in a little bit, you can go onto the Tor resources, and there's places online that show the entire list of public nodes IPs. And what that means is there's a whole list of the Tor providers. And if any government was really angry about Tor, they could just block all those IP addresses, and any servers in their country don't serve content there. So it's a very, it's an open way to provide those exit services, but also it's a public ledger. And so with MASQ, you don't have that. There's no list anywhere that shows who's all the people that run MASQ services, who are all the IPs. You're not going to have that, which also means that the users have some layer of obfuscation from their own part of the MASQ network. So all those things are very big differences, very fundamental advantages for us. And yeah, that wages a lot of the solution that we're building. So hopefully that helps some of you guys.
That's very interesting. I think just to follow on with what you were just discussing, is the software so project, or is that going to remain as a closed source?
I caught most of your question there.
Sorry, my internet or this internet situation. Yeah, so just to say again, the client version and the node version, are there plans for that to be open source, or is that going to be a closed source applications?
Yeah, good question. So all of our the core code is open source. So we actually want it open source. To be honest, number one is to attract people to contribute. It is built in Rust and it's written in Rust. So anyone listening, I still will stand up with the bounty we have. If you find a Rust developer that wants to contribute, we have some MASQ put aside to reward someone who refers them. So yeah, number one, we want contribution, because a code base is only as strong and maintained as however strong their contributors are. So that said, we want that to be open source and also to give trust. So we will conduct security audits and code audits when the time is right. So we want that to be a critical part of that trust factor for users. But also, we want it to be, we want to drive innovation, right? Like there's no way we've thought of all the uses of the technology once it goes live and people start using it, because the way it's built, it is sort of it's an ecosystem layer above the normal internet. So the way nodes communicate, you could essentially adopt other uses within that, like secure messaging, ways to build like communication layers within MASQ, so the network can communicate to itself. Different degrees of that. So yeah, that all needs to exist in an open source environment. For our front end, for our actual like GUI, which is the graphical user interface, that's the pretty screens you see when you're a user. So you don't have to do coding on a command line and all the crazy technical settings. That part is closed source for the moment. We may open source that at some point. But for now, the main reason for that, if anyone's wondering, is that it is very proprietary at the moment. We're building some very cool things into it, and we don't want anyone to steal our ideas, because there are other projects out there that are very well funded, that have VC backing and all of that. We'd like to be the sort of the underdogs coming up. We haven't had an ICO or VC, so we're doing this as community driven. We want to keep that sort of close to our chest for a while. And we've got some very, very exceptional people in our team working on that. Sui Yui's in the chat, I think, in the stage. Shout out to you, brother, for all your hard work with you and the team, building that amazing front-end software. I wish I could share the screen to show you some more things. I might post it in one of the chat rooms. Maybe Joe and Church, you can tell me where I can post a screenshot.
Yeah, feel free to post into Radio Hotline any screenshots you'd like, and I'll copy them over.
Yeah, sweet. But yeah, for now, it's going to be that part's closed source. Oh, and we've got some amazing cloud computing guys, who work in AWS. They're helping with this a lot. But let me post something in here.
Just while you're posting there as well, Corey, I'd like to draw attention to, we've got a POAP claim form in Radio Hotline as well, guys.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, everyone loves their POAPs.
I think I'm addicted to them as well. I think I've probably got almost the most out of everyone in this in the Alchemist team. Maybe apart from Stu. I think Stu's got the biggest collection.
I was going to say,
Stu. I think Stu is sitting there in the audience as well.
I was going to say, I think it might border on an unhealthy addiction for him now. But we all love Stu. Let's see if I can. So if any of you are wondering what the software is going to look like, I've just shared a little screenshot in Radio Hotline. This is the new screen we've put together to allow Polygon Network as the choice to run your node. So it's got that really cool sort of futuristic feel with the dark mode as default, and yeah, so that's the look we're going for. Also, and this blockchain and all that, we can't promise them all. You know, it's like, but it's also not one chain rules them all type of thing these days too. But this is what's good is us integrating Polygon has given us a chance to test the robustness of the code base to say, wow, we can add a network and it's actually not as hard as we thought. So there is potential to support many networks and many blockchains in the future. So which chain they may want to go on. So that's cool. That's a future thing.
Awesome. Thanks for the deep explanations about your projects as well, Corey. It's really interesting to learn all the different directions that you're trying to encompass with this, and it sounds like it's been really good to collaborate with you guys as a team on the Crucible side of things, and as well just in the last week organizing this event has been great with you.
Yeah, no, it's been very, very appreciated.
More community questions from the list here. Planning to tackle the security/exploit risk within MASQ.
I'm not sure if Curry heard all of that, but I only heard a very small part of that question, Church.
Corey, do you need me to repeat that for you, sir?
I heard planning to tackle security exploits, right?
Yeah, how are you planning to tackle the security exploit risk within MASQ?
Yeah, good. It's definitely a core issue that we look at when we're developing. So I touched on it a little bit, but in terms of making it as safe to use as we can, we do take that privacy and security as the first port of call when we look at developing things. So if we look to put a new feature in, or try and say, hey, is the user able to do this? We do look at that first as, hey, is there to be able to know how much they've been paid from using MASQ, right? Like if they were serving. And so we were looking at it, and the first thing would this create, a list of transactions from certain nodes that if someone got a hold of this person's computer, they could find out there's other users on MASQ. And so we said, yeah, that's true. We better not, sort of develop that in that way. So yeah, security exploits and those types of things, we're always trying to make sure they aren't in there. In terms of safety as it stands, there's very little personal information captured by the software itself or stored, beyond your public IP. So anywhere you go on the internet, your public IP is going to be used to ping the server and get content. So you have to know that. And beyond that, it's just an Ethereum wallet. So we've put in as the default sort of new user pathway to create clean wallets just for MASQ. I know some people or some users say, well, does that mean I have to move tokens to use it? And the answer is yes, but the trade-off is that you've got a brand new wallet with nothing in it. No, you're not a whale trying to use your wallet with 100 ETH in there. It's going to be a fresh wallet with no history. And then you can just put some tokens in there, bridge it to Polygon and use it and do what you will. So those things we've sort of designed where you're not revealing a lot of personal information about you or your machine. So hopefully that makes some sense to that question too.
To go on the back of that question and your answer, would there be potentially bounties in the future to catch maybe exploits and things like that in the software if such things do exist?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely hardening and all those types of things. We're not saying we haven't that the project and the code isn't flawed. There's probably small things that are already there that we want people to find. So yeah, we do want to do some bug bounties, maybe some like hackathon events once the software goes into the wild, and people can really rough it up, stress test it, see what cracks and what breaks, and then we can head back to the open source. The beauty of open source is give people an opportunity to contribute and either make it better or propose a different alternative. So yeah, we would love to have that, and we want to make that a regular thing for sure.
Actually, you mentioned hackathons, and I think that's a really good topic to maybe cover now. We have a lot of people who sit here in our project who are actually from other projects as well, or are part of the communities of other projects and things like that. Like how can other projects potentially get involved once you have released you've released GEMINI out to the wild and things like that? How can other projects potentially get involved to build things that would potentially be add-ons or things like that would work with the GEMINI client?
Awesome. Yeah, that's a really, really good question, and I'm glad you asked that because I think that's where we will see a lot of collaboration. Working with other projects who want to leverage the technology. So actually, part of the Veil initiative, again, without revealing too much, that will help open up that sort of that will open up that sort of opportunity a lot more. But we do want not only to drive user adoption, but we want more utility to be built into MASQ itself. So it's not just a VPN, type browsing tool to give you privacy. It's going to have more utility in it. So yeah, when we start releasing the software versions and doing phased rollouts, we will probably open up a like a type form or just a channel in our Discord. And if you're a project that would love to have a privacy enhancement like MASQ, so your users can basically use maybe a dApp that you've developed or certain things that you're building, you want it to route through MASQ Network peer-to-peer, so the data's obfuscated and private. We're going to have a way to apply and sort of be, maybe be part of that ecosystem, because that's going to be important, right? People want to use the software for their everyday stuff. So why not have it built into MASQ Network where you can use your favorite wallet, you can use your favorite browser, you can use your favorite MistX exchange, Maybe that's a hint on something we might feature soon. I'd love to do that.
And Corey, if you don't, can I chime in here?
Sure.
I think it's a good time to also mention. You were saying that MASQ is just much more than will be just much more than, like, say a VPN or whatnot. And I think that that's always been, kind of like the core message of MASQ. Even, there's been a lot of like when the software comes and like, when the software gets here. And I just wanted to point out that even without the software, what MASQ is promoting really is privacy and freedom. Like that's really been our core message. So I just want everybody to know that, like, yes, while the software is coming, MASQ is so much more than just a piece of software. And so I just wanted to make sure that we, that we mentioned that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you can imagine well, we want to go beyond the crypto space, obviously, right? Because like it's still a bit niche. It's obviously gaining huge momentum now. You got all the big players now, looking at things like NFTs and banking the unbanked and all that. It's a big movement that's happened in the last year. So we know the end game is, if you aren't a crypto person but you want to gain back some privacy, and you or maybe you live in in a censored place, we want MASQ to be one of the go-to solutions. So it's going to help onboard people to the crypto space. But at the moment, crypto a lot of applications are based on that, right? Taking back your privacy, taking back that pseudo anonymity, that goes along with being financially independent from the traditional banking system, right? So right now, those things are attracted, to our space, but we want to be more. We want to build more freedom than just crypto. So our message is much broader than that.
Yeah, and also for the people that are maybe just joining us or joining us a little later, I'm going to post a link in the radio hotline to our last development update, where we've talked about some of these things that we've gone over, like Polygon and the Veil initiative and whatnot. And for anybody that's wondering, I just want to reiterate that right now we're calling GEMINI, the next phase of our software, 90% done. 90% is really a huge accomplishment with a piece of software like this. So we're, as far as I'm concerned, right around the corner from putting out a groundbreaking piece of software that is, in my opinion, will change the world.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
So I posted that link, and then while I've got the floor for a second, I'm going to post another link. So the other link that I'm posting for anybody that's new to MASQ is this is the getting started video. So you can see the software, the startup stages of it, and how it's going to be used to get logged in and get going with a wallet and whatnot. So we're so close. I just want to put that in here. That's it. That's all I got.
No, you did well, man.
Very, very full and fleshed out answer there. I really appreciate it. We're getting so much content from you, sir. A follow-up question from Omar Sin there was, are you planning to implement MASQ also on Optimism?
I think we've addressed that a little bit with the governance vote we had, but in terms of will that ever happen? I mean, there's potential for it, but I think the overhead of taking on another layer 2 or roll-up type solution, may not be worth it. I think if you look at the comparisons, though, between Optimism and Polygon, let's just say we're going to have a much faster software release because Polygon's more mature. If we're trying to wait to be onboarded into Optimism and things, it would slow things up. But that's not to say it's off the cards for the future. They do have definitely good potential. But yeah, I think Polygon does address a lot of the things that Optimism provides, from a solution standpoint. Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's happening in the near future, but it could happen, sometime later if we feel that it would really help the network.
suppose just as a bit of a follow-up question to that, what for MASQ, what as a project really attracted you to Polygon as the solution there, aside from the current availability as a more established solution at the moment?
Yeah, good question. Essentially, the ecosystem of Polygon was quite broad. So we saw that, okay, we're going to look for a scaling solution, number one, and we look around, we see all these different things based on Ethereum. And so number one, we wanted one that is based on Ethereum. So that tick that box, because Ethereum is arguably the most decentralized and secure blockchain for, like a virtual machine type of one, where you've got the EVM built into it, security consensus and all of that. So Polygon ticked that box. The gas issue, it ticked that box too. But one of the deal breakers that we saw in our due diligence was that Optimism and Arbitrum, of those two types of solutions, they have a 7-day challenge period. So what that means for the user is, if I want to get tokens out of Optimism back to the Ethereum chain, there's a 7-day challenge window to withdraw. So we sort of looked at that and said, well, okay, it might be slightly faster. It might let you use native ETH as gas, but are users going to want to wait 7 days to get MASQ bridged back? And we sort of, thought, okay, well, that would be part of the vote. We'll let the people decide. And that, it was sort of, that was a big trade-off. And I think the community that voted sort of looked at that too. So in comparison with Polygon, that's only about 3 to 4 hour withdrawal period. So that was a big thing. So people, transferring back and forth, we didn't want that to be a bottleneck for them.
Really great answer. Thanks, Corey. Just two more community questions. Sorry, one more community question here. Do you think about a collaboration with a decentralized chain that could host web pages like Flux? MASQ would provide the anonymity for the connection. They could provide for hosting. Not quite sure there, but that's what we've had from Leo Ank. I think the main question is do you think about collaborations with decentralized chains for hosting web pages and storage?
Yeah, I mean, short answer is yes, right? Because once we have this foundational network built on top of the internet, which is the MASQ mesh network, it would make sense to have a way to do decentralized hosting or decentralized storage. We've started looking a little bit at IPFS, because they're very well established and mature, to sort of store things in a decentralized way, such as a website and things. And that's already built into really, really awesome and cool use cases like ENS, which is Ethereum Name Services, unstoppable domains, things like that. I mean, we've even floated the idea one day you could have a .masq top level domain, right? Because why not? If someone wants to host a site within MASQ Network, you could have a .masq domain, and it's hosted within a decentralized way. So yeah, all those things are possible, and it would just be a matter of looking at how to integrate it securely. But on the other side of that, the biggest challenge for us is that how do you make that done in a safe way for the users in terms of like appropriate content, right? So I think probably before that would be a live possibility. We want a democratic way for the network to determine what is safe content. One thing we never want to touch, and you can hear this from me, we never want to touch what the users intend to go to, in the sense that like we're not going to censor our own network, right? I think that's wrong in a lot of ways. But we know when you get humans in a big group, fundamental good often comes out. So we're hoping that users who don't want bad things on the network just won't serve those things. They'll use DNS providers that are family friendly, or they will, you know, they will pretty much collaborate to make sure that bad stuff doesn't propagate through the network. So we would want a mechanism for that. So if people are hosting, we know that there's not going to be a whole bunch of bad things hosted that we know are ethically bad or fundamentally bad. So it's a very big world problem, or like a challenge, I should say, to attack that. So some big fundamentals there to make it happen. Is it possible? Absolutely.
A bit of time left here still. Were there any community questions in the audience? Did anyone want to come up and ask a few questions of Corey and Mac or Joey?
Yeah, don't be shy. Maybe someone wants to shout out a question live.
To come up and ask a question, all you need to do is use the raise hand feature at the bottom of the screen and then click accept at the top.
Wow, it's cool. There's a lot of people that come out, though. 137. It's awesome.
A great turnout.
Yeah.
And they've all stuck through with the Discord drops we've had. I think they're resolved now as well. It's been consistent for a little bit. I won't jinx it, but
Yeah, I think it's definitely the servers there, though, because a lot of us are in different countries, and they're all having hit or miss a little bit today.
yeah, all at the same time.
Yeah.
I think you've done a really good job of answering a lot of these questions, Corey. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on while we're here? We've got about another 10 minutes left in the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
We can keep
Let me
going
post
if
something.
you.
Yeah, we can keep going. Even if someone wants to be brave and start asking questions, that's all good. But another thing, we've kind of come up with a little trend here where in our AMAs we release a little bit of sneak peeks and stuff. I'm putting something in the radio hotline chat. So for those of you wondering, now that we've integrated with Polygon, we have mapped the tokens. So MASQ is bridged officially. It's also got our test token bridged, so we can start doing testing. So we've hosted our own bridge page, which will be live probably later today. There'll be a short website maintenance period. So we'll take the site down just to update it. But here's a little preview of the bridge page with the widget we made from Polygon. So you can hop in and bridge tokens right now to your Polygon side wallet straight from this page. So that's pretty cool, very exciting. It means that it's all live for the bridging back and forth. You don't have to rush to do it. There isn't a pool set up there on any decentralized exchanges yet, but we are approaching that milestone too. But have a look, see if you like it. It's all with our branding, and Polygon might give us a shout out very soon as well once it goes live.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing alpha with us on stage in that regard, man. If everyone have a tune over to the radio hotline and have a look at what Corey shared there. Corey, do you think you could take us through the diagram that you've got there and sort of just what this represents a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So it's hosted as a website, which when it goes live is masq.ai/bridge. When you hop on there, you'll see a little animated modal on the left come up, which is what you see on the left of that image. It's the white Polygon bridge. And it's a widget that is basically the Polygon wallet bridging feature. So if you've got MetaMask installed on your browser, you just click that, connect with your wallet, and then by default, it already has MASQ from the Ethereum side as the default token, and you can bridge it over to Polygon. So that some of you who may not have used scaling solutions or side chains before, basically there's an on-chain transaction that you do for Ethereum to send the tokens across, and then the tokens appear on the same Ethereum wallet, the same address, but that exists on the Polygon network. So we'll put out a guide. We'll put out some instructions soon. There's also ways to get Matic for free, you know, a little bit for your gas. At the moment, you can do around 100 transactions with 0.001 Matic, so that there's faucets there that you can request free, a little airdrop of Matic, and it sends it to you, and then you can move things around, send it to your MASQ wallet once you can start testing the software, and basically enjoy a almost gas-free life in crypto for once, which is quite nice.
Yeah, the gas fees have been quite difficult lately.
Yeah, I really don't know how the people get into the NFTs so much. When they suffer through, it's like, you know, no pain, no NFT, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a loop there with the NFTs driving up the gas.
Yeah.
So just from a wide standpoint, Corey, what's the easiest way for new users to learn a little bit more about MASQ and perhaps get involved in your community?
Yeah, glad you raised that. You know, firstly, just if you want to learn more or talk more about it, hop into our Discord. It's very active. Most of the time, we've got a lot of great admin support from our team, and we share all of our current updates and you know, things about the things being worked on. So hop in there and chat with us. We have a couple little channels as students too. So if you want to try and test it or get involved in some testing, you know, we do invite lots of people in to test different things. And we will need that soon too, because once we start doing stress testing with the GEMINI, you know, alpha, we're going to want some people to go through it with fresh eyes. So don't be afraid to come in there and put your hand up, say, hey, look, I'd love to test it. We will pick, you know, some early testers as well. So jump in there. We've got Telegram as well, and you can jump in there too. And all our socials, you know, to keep up to date. But also, if you have any coding experience or any desire to learn Rust, or, you know, you've got some command line sort of expertise and you like messing around in the code side, also reach out. You know, you can ping me and we'll get in touch with the team and see how, you know, if we can use your skills. But yeah, we definitely want to encourage that, and all contribution that people can provide would be great.
Yeah, I would also add that if anybody knows Rust dev, we are hiring, and we definitely are always on the lookout for Rust devs. So please hit us up if you know anybody.
Yeah.
Get the word out, Rust developers. I just wanted to follow up with is those.
Church, you're very quiet there.
Oh, sorry about that. Something I wanted to follow up with, just for those backtracking on a bit of a history between Alchemist and MASQ here with the Crucible rewards program. How are they going for the MASQ community? The people have been signed up for that for a while now. Has it been pretty smooth? Is everyone enjoying it?
Yeah, I've had some great feedback from some of our long-term holders. Last I checked, we did a little update on extending the GEMINI pool, and at the time of writing, we had over $1 million worth of subscriptions of MASQ, which was very impressive. I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. That's like a quarter of circulating supply, all, you know, contributing, subscribing. So it was very popular. And of course, since we announced the governance, we saw a big, you know, increase in people providing, you know, the SLP. So they enjoy the rewards, but also get to vote. So I think it's been amazing. And, you know, shout out to you guys for making it a smooth onboarding. And Joe, you've been awesome, always there to help. You know, we might call on your help later today when we put more rewards into the Gemini pool. But yeah, you guys have been amazing, and we appreciate that support too, because it helps our community. And everyone loves rewards, so it's been good.
Thanks for the kind words, Kauri. Yeah, I mean, it's been a pleasure working with your team and yourself. I mean, everyone is very, very positive from your team, and things just worked so well. So yeah, it's definitely a pleasure, and I'm sure we're going to find loads of ways to work together in the future. I just want to say I love the aesthetics of all the stuff that you guys are making. Like the design aesthetic is great, and really represents this kind of like privacy network. So I just thought I'd just throw this out there, but you guys are doing a fantastic job, and even just you talking about your projects circulating supply and stuff, I still think it's pretty early days for the project, and hopefully once you have your product out in the wild, then the adoption for that will be relatively high, and I think is definitely a value add to the community to be able to have a good privacy network that people can leverage on for whether it's their own products in projects or whether it's their own personal use. It's very, very interesting for me.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joe. And yeah, I mean that's what we're feeling that too. I think we're a bit under-recognized overall, in my opinion. Not to bash any projects, but there's still lots of projects out there that really don't have a lot of product progress, but they do very well on the charts, and we'll catch up. It's only a matter of time. But we might be quieter than some. We might do less hype than some. But that's just because we're quietly building away, and we're making this this next software version as mind-blowing as we can without giving away all of our secrets. All of the exciting things that people will see. But yeah, we're definitely working every day, every week, getting closer and closer. 90%. I mean, geez, that's pretty amazing in itself. So I'll definitely be continuing those updates too. We call it the Behind the Mask updates. Every probably 7 to 10 days, and then a monthly summary. So if you want to catch up on that, Mac, you've shared the link, which is great. Have a look at where we're at, and yeah, spread the word. If you think anyone can contribute and make that progress faster, we're happy to chat. So that would be great.
Yep. Thanks for having us, guys. I really appreciate it. It was fun being here.
Thanks for coming, guys. It was a great event. Just to loop everybody's attention back to the radio hotline for just a moment. Joe has posted the link to the MASQ Discord server there, so you can hop over and have a look at what MASQ is about. Pabanto has posted the Telegram chat link as well as the MASQ website. And I've posted the Crucible and MASQ Twitter handles. If you could follow both of those, you'd be able to get the most recent updates as they come out.
Yeah, thanks
also,
for that.
Just to clarify for people who are asking in the chats, that the POAP isn't actually live and available at the moment. POAP itself, the protocol, we've been having some problems with claiming and getting those going live in a timely fashion. That's to do with how the POAP is working at the moment. They're having some issues on their end. So if you just fill out the form, don't worry about it. You will get your POAP after the fact. And if you get the reload screen, it's okay. It has gone through. It's all sorted. Just need to enter your details in there once, and you'll get your POAP for the event. Thanks so much for coming, everyone. We really appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed the event and had a great night. Yeah,
thanks for having us, mate. And if anyone does have some final questions, I'll linger around a bit in the text channels, and yeah, feel free to hop on ours, ask whatever questions come to mind. If you were a little shy to hop on the mic, that's all good. But we'd be more than happy to answer and chat more. So thanks again to all of you, and we appreciate you all. Thanks for supporting us. And yeah, very exciting things coming. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, as well as marketing. So we've got some stuff on the horizon too. So definitely, keep your eyes on MASQ.
You will see our name.
Oh, sorry, Kauri, go for it.
I'm gonna say you will see our name mentioned a lot more in the space. Don't worry, it's coming.
a lot more.
Well, I've got my eyes peeled, so thanks, Cowrie and Mac, for joining us. It's a pleasure as always. Yeah, looking forward to see what you guys bring out to the table. I think it's a fantastic project. I've said that a few times already, and yeah, I'd love to see what's coming next.
Yeah, awesome. And we'll always try and take care of our friends at Alchemist, right? You know, we'll try and give you guys some of the news first if we can in your Discord. And you've been with us for a little while now as friends. So yeah, you're in a good spot.
Thanks for looking out for our community. I'm sure they really appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, good. Cheers, guys. Well, yeah, I'll linger about if anyone has any more they want to chat about.
Thanks so much, Corey, Mac, Joe. Great event, everyone. Have a good night, and thanks for everyone for coming.
Thanks. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Church, for hosting it, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
Yeah, great job, Judge. See ya.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
See ya.